All right, we're live. Um, Episode 3, Elevate Above Fear, the podcast. It's a blessing to be here. This podcast was created out of necessity, right? Out of a genuine need for us to get beyond our fears, our trepidation, our whatever we scared about, right? And over the past week and a half, 2 weeks, me and my family have been tried significantly. And I think one of the major things that hits hard when you're tried is your faith, right? So like that's it. Like it's like, all right, dang, why this happened, right? And then the first thing you want to blame somebody. So who's to blame? This, then the third. And growing up, I was never a very religious person. I wouldn't consider myself that. We grew up Roman Catholic, but it was never something that like I personally like felt, right? Like when I was here when they would be doing the spirits or the ghosts, the Holy Ghost, and they were doom 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 doom. That wasn't that really was never my thing, right? I was more of a like, as I got older, I became more into energy, right? And like just the way in which people affected me. And like when they got around me, how my mood would swing and so on and so forth. And one of the things that I can genuinely say that I feel like we've been really afraid of for the longest as a people, as Black people, is religion, the spirits, the afterlife, things of that nature, and like really like tapping into that. And on today's episode, we're gonna tap into that, right? We're gonna do exactly what we say we're gonna do, and we're gonna elevate above fear, right? My name is Jonas Russo. I'm from Brownsville, Brooklyn. I've been through quite a bit, and the one thing I can say is that I did not get to where I'm at right now on my own. I cannot point to the person, place, or thing, or the being that it was, right? I can't say that. I know that I did not get to where I'm at on my own. I know that I'm not getting through this difficult time in my life on my own, right? I know that there have been times where I've been carried to a different place, to a different destination, because there's a greater purpose for me. And with that being said, we're using today's episode to delve into that, or to dive into that, and to elevate above that fear of the unknown, right? So all right, I'm off that, right? What was that? 2-3 minutes of chat and ramble. All right, Brooklyn, Brownsville, CT, what up? Jonas Russo, Elevate Expectations, co-host of Elevate Above Fear, and I'm about to bring on my other co-host. Please pay attention. I see you in the room not paying attention. It's go time. There's no more time. It's time to go. Over.
Hi, everyone. I was sending the link to people so they could tune in.
It's every time.
I know. And, all the time, everyone's like, you're never looking, because I'm sending the link. People ask me questions. I know I should do that prior, but I think today's, like, it's important for some people to come in and watch what's going on, maybe get inspired, and come with an open mind, because it's something different. We've been grown up we grew up like in a church similar to you, Jonas, in the Catholic Church, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. But you know, I recently came into learning about the Yoruba culture, and it's been very fascinating and interesting. And I want to say this before we even continue. It is one God. It's one God that we're all worshiping, but you know, everybody has a different way of doing so. And I just thought their culture was pretty interesting, and I just wanted to share it with everyone else. So you know, you got to come with an open mind. Some people have negative thoughts when they kind of stray away from Christianity, and it's not a negative thing at all. So
stop being scared.
Yeah.
Elevate above
it's
fear.
all God, spirituality, and embedding yourself as a person and just picking up on different vibrations. So like when people speak about the universe, for example, or even like this, you know, the book The Secret and the program The Secret they had on Netflix, like manifesting your destinies or whatever. It's all the same thing in my estimation. Whether you want to say it's the universe or you want to say it's you're manifesting what you are, but you're speaking to God who is in you. So, and that's where I'm getting with all of this. And I just thought it was important to, you know, what do our ancient people from Africa, this is what they study, and this is their culture. And we're specifically talking about the Yoruba tribe in Nigeria.
All right. So look, Brooklyn, right? Stop being scared. Right? Like, here's the thing. I know when you're told something, like, all right, this is what it is. Right? Yo, the perm is what it is. This is what we do. And then it burn out your head and say, all right, son, maybe that don't rock out the way in which, you know. Let me go back home and let me speak to the ancestors and let me see what it is. And that's what we're doing right now. Please come ask your questions, right? Like, this is a time for us to fellows, don't, you know, I don't want to say what not to do. Just come in the spirit of love and learning, right? And that's it. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna play a small, a quick video, and then we'll have our guest come on, and we're gonna take it from there. I'm out on you.
There are many indigenous religions across Africa today, like Vodun, Orisha, and Nkiche.
They vary in practice from region to region, but share common features, such as the idea in some higher and pervasive entity and force, which is manifested in everything that has been created now and in the future.
The idea that ancestors exist in another world and can be invoked to intervene in our affairs,
and prayers and sacrifices are made to intercessors so that a person's life on earth can be good and he or she can become an ancestor after death.
Today of Africa's 1 billion population, about 15% follow traditional religions, the rest are mostly Muslims and Christians.
All right. Welcome. So, without any further ado, I'm not going to mess up your name. I'm not going to do that.
I'm on. Okay.
Yep. So you're on and it's ready to go. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Iyawo Osun Okan, Ajibola. I'm a Osun priestess, a very young one. That's why I'm a Iyawo at this time. So I'm hoping that everyone learned something from what we discuss here today, and we all speak from the heart and give, our genuine, I guess, opinions and views on how this all works and how it plays out for us.
All right. So hold on. First of all, I believe that there's something that you want to do.
Okay, well, I wanted to open with the ancestors because I always give respect to my ancestors first, and I want to give respect to yours first. So I'm going to just start with a little Omi Tutu, okay? Omi tutu, ona tutu, ile tutu, tutuladore. Omi tutu, ona tutu, ile tutu, tutuladore. Omi tutu, ona tutu, ile tutu, tutuladore. I'm bringing fresh water to the roads and to the house. Okay? Basically, I just want to say, Iba Baba, Iba Yeye, Iba to all the ancestors of the Ajibola family, the Barton and the Bennett family. Iba Sanders Saunders, Ernestine Young, Earl Barton Sr., Aunt Elvira, Aunt Bernice, Uncle Owen, Uncle Sam, Aunt Lucille, Aunt Louise, Monique Mason, Camille Barton. Iba to all the ancestors who I may not remember the names of, but I love and respect and give all my salutes to you. Also, I want to Iba to the ancestors of the priesthood who have brought me this far. I'm not going to go into names because I don't know all their names yet, but I salute them as well. And Iba to your ancestors, Jonah and Chantel, and I give thanks for them also for guiding us and bringing us all together. Because in my opinion and how I've lived for a very long time is I give thanks to my ancestors. They brought me here. Ashe.
Thank you. Real quick, can you just like explain okay, before we go into that, can you tell us the meaning behind your name?
Okay, Iyawo is a bride. Is also considered a baby, someone who is in a very young stage. So that is my title. In Yoruba, the names are usually classified and identified with title first and then the name. Oshun is my crown. I was blessed and crowned a Oshun priestess. So I'm a bride of Oshun. And Okan is just a name that I went by because at the moment I did have a twin, which was considered an Ibeji. So I was Yawo Oshun Okan, and she was Yawo Oshun Meiji. So Okan means one. Oshun is one of the Orishas, and Iyawo means bride, also like baby. I'm young priestess.
And Oshun.
And Ajibola, my last name, I'll give you that. That means I wake to wealth.
Oh, nice. I know Oshun because I've been reading up a little bit on Oshun, and this is the one that the goddess that is beautiful, right? And who was sent to the sun and burned. And Beyonce talks about her a lot. Like she's like, I'm the daughter of Oshun.
Oh,
yeah. So with that being said, if you could just explain, because they're called Orishas.
Okay.
Right? If you could just explain what that is, the significance behind it, and how does that play into our lives?
Okay. So there are many Orishas. The world seems to pay mostly attention to the 7 Orishas, which are most somewhere you'll hear as the 7 powers. You'll hear as Oshun, Ogun, Ilegba, Obatala, Ochosi, Yemoja, and Don't fail me now, brain. Who did I forget? I forgot because I was 7. Oh, so I'm rocking. That's the 7 that mostly people consider. But there's many others. Okay, there's 401. So I can't even pretend to say I know all the names. I do know some others. But Oshun is one of the female Orishas. She is one of the beautiful Orishas. All the Orisha females, I believe, are beautiful. But she is one that is represented by beauty. You see sometimes that, when you hear beauty, you hear Oshun. But this is not beauty that is outward. Mm-hmm. You understand? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I'm new to Oshun. I ran around for many years. I've been in this religion for about 25 years. I was a very young lady when my mother died, and I started with my ancestors. And then through my ancestors, I learned about the Orisha because I was trying to tap in because I needed my mother. I was very young. So I was running around. I was told very young that I was a child of Alegba, which is another Orisha. Okay. So for many years, I studied Alegba, and we can talk about them a little later. But Oshun is my mother, Orisha. So I'm really learning a lot about her. But she's more than just outside beauty. She's inner beauty. She's poised. She's respect. She's an advocate. I find that she gets along with all the Orishas in a sense because she's an advocate, in my opinion.
So when we're speaking about the Orishas, these are, just for clarity for those out there, these are spirits that we're speaking on.
You can consider them deities. You hear them called deities. I see them in elements as well, because Osun is the river, Ogun is iron, Ochosi is a hunter. You understand? Obatala, he's pure in whiteness, So these are elements as well. And there's also different people, because of how time has done us as a people, and because there's been a spread of people and their cultures, and a misteaching and a this teaching and a that teaching, we all have our ways and views. So there's different ways that people call them, but you have to be able to see them for yourself. See, I see the Orisha in the elements. I see the Orisha in people's characteristics. I see the Orisha in my issues and my good times, because I learned the stories. Like you spoke of that story of Oshun reaching the sun. That's a Pataki. You see how you can relate that to a problem or issue, or maybe a joyous time in your life when maybe there was someone strong in your community that had to stand up. If you from Brownsville, sometimes you had to stand up.
That's a whole
I lived in East New York for about 7-8 years. Okay, very close to Brownsville. Sometimes as advocates, we have to stand up. Right. So again, she was an advocate. You understand? So
because I want, one of the things that you just spoke on was about us being split up, right? So we were dropped off everywhere, right? I think one of the things we spoke about off air was Portugal, and we was like, hey, you see how they dropped us off, everywhere, and everywhere you go, you're gonna then receive different teachings, different learnings, right? And then it's going to be scary to ever go against what you've been taught, right? And like you said, from a young child, you were told that you were I'm sorry, what was that word again?
The daughter of...
No, not from a young child. I learned that I was about 19 years old, that I was a child of a Legba. But as a child, no, I was raised in Christian. I know the Bible. I had to go to church every Sunday. I was in Sunday school. The people who raised me weren't aware of this way of life. My mother had some things going on. So when I lost my mother is when I reached out, but I was alone in that reaching. The majority of those who raised me were not aware, did not speak the way I spoke. They didn't understand spirit. They didn't understand.
So at 19, who was the person or the entity that informed you or exposed to you that you were the child of Allegra?
Okay, so I think we should take it a little further back and to see why we got to that. Okay, because I'm gonna give it to you how the process started. So my mother died. I was 17. Okay. So, because I want to give you an idea of the journey, because sometimes people put a time frame on their journey and they become impatient with themselves. It's not necessary. All right. So my mom died at 17. I was lost. I already knew I was quite clairvoyant, but growing up in school and being told that you're different, you tend to conform and shift and shape. But my mother, I had that relationship with. She knew things. Okay. She would do certain things and I would see certain things in my house, and she would go to stores and speak to elders when I can tell that she was in distress. So I had this in my vision, but it wasn't the majority. So then when my mother died, I was quite young and I had to bury her. So I started to spend time in the cemetery out of grief, right? But it allowed me to have a connection. It made me weird to the people I was around, but I knew that there was something there. You feel me?
No, without a doubt.
Those were my ancestors. Those were my ancestors. They was drawing me. Spirit was drawing me. Because sometimes through pain is when you get stronger. unfortunately, emotional and physical. So then after that, I met some people. A very good friend of mine, had her rule. She was somewhat like me. She understood ancestors, and I could have this conversation with her. But this was in Brooklyn. I met her. Now I grew up in Harlem. Now I'm in Brooklyn now as an adult woman. I have a child. My mother's gone. I'm hanging out at the cemetery. Okay. But I met this young lady and I could have a conversation with her about it. And she introduced me to her high school teacher, Osun Toki Moji Sola, who is still my godmother to this day. Now that was in I would say 96. And then through divination. Now Osun Toki was a Osun priestess at the time. She's been an Osun priestess since the early 70s. Okay. So, but she was a young woman and I was just a child then, although I thought I was a woman. So at that point, I received something at that time was just called a reading, because Head Haru knew about readings. Like, they were cultural. They went to the drummer circle at Prospect Park and things like that. So I started to vibe in that energy. If you from Brownsville, you guys would know the area. Okay.
Very well.
So then I received a reading, and through divination is when I started to learn about the Orisha.
Got it. So you were surrounded in a community of people who helped to.
No, I wasn't. I put myself in that community.
Okay.
Okay. I was raised by colorful, very corporate, clean, colorful.
So you went and sought this community out.
In a sense, yeah. It was just from one conversation. I mean, we were sister friends, and we started doing sister friend things like sister circles and drummer circles, things like that. I opened up to absorb the possibility of African culture. And at the time, she exuded African culture to me.
And to me, so that's the part that makes sense to me.
It fit in with who I was.
Right.
I wasn't weird there.
Right. You're in the
spirit.
You're in a space now where it's like, hold on, this actually matches what I've been feeling the entire time. And you had a community of people who vibed out with that. And for me, being raised in a Christian household never vibed with me, right? The drums always had a certain feel to it, so that would be the closest thing to the what's it called, the Holy Spirit or whatever the case may be from elsewhere, right? So when they get tapping on them drums, okay, like I can feel something there, opposed to elsewhere. However, when we live in a world where we are ultimately forced to conform, because being different isn't, it's a difficult thing. Talking too much. Shantae, I know you got some questions.
Yeah, real quick, when now that we're kind of talking about the ancestors and stuff, I was watching Dr. Umar Johnson, who was touching up, talking about the Yoruba culture. And that's what we're talking about now. And he was talking about, like, I guess his journey into that life. And he was saying that he knew that his ancestors would come visit him. So I know now, like, when we're talking about spirits coming to visit you, now people start to get freaked out and now they don't want to hear it. But anyway, he was talking about his aunts. He knew his ancestors would come visit him, and he was afraid. But when they finally did come visit him, it was in the middle of the night, and they come now like once a month. And he says he knows they're there because they'll like touch him or move a blanket or turn on the light or something to that effect, he said. So my question is, I'm sure you have, just speaking, but can you speak on any experiences like this? And how do I or Jonas or anyone else get to experience something like that?
I think the first thing that you could do is start to first acknowledge that they are there mentally first. Because, as we think of, so we begin to behave. And I mean, you can set up an altar if you chose to. There's ways of communicating with your ancestors, but you can listen to them. Like, just open yourself up, maybe hear them through song. If you hear a song and it reminds you of that person, maybe just put a glass of water up and maybe a flower, something like that. I don't want to get you into the practices of doing things that you may not become comfortable with until you actually learn. But, I have an altar, so I have a glass of water, a candle, some photos. When I see things that my mother would enjoy, or the ancestors that I could remember, that the spirits in the Egun that I can remember may have enjoyed, I might pick those things up or share them with them. I have items. You understand what I'm saying? But then I also try to remember the ancestors that I don't know their names, that I don't remember their faces, because they also were respecting me.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So in that sense, I kind of just try to feel. You know what I'm saying? You got to open yourself up to feel, and live this experience. We've been trained to do away with our imagination and how we feel about things. Like that gut feeling, that's a true thing. That could be ancestors talking to you. Sometimes you get that hearing, that noise in your ear, or that voice, and you think, oh, that's me saying it. Maybe it's one of them. Just acknowledge them. In the morning when you wake up, first give thanks to God, Olodumare, then give thanks to all those who have gone to pass before you. Start there and ask them to teach you. Because that's what I was doing. I was praying like, please, God, tell me what to do.
But
I need to hear.
One of the things that you mentioned earlier was about pain and how we generally tend to seek out that understanding when you're in pain, right? So like you have that hurt and you have a sense of you can't really understand this, right? Like I just lost something, or this crazy thing just took place. I need somebody else, because there's not a human being.
This ain't working. This human experience ain't it.
It's not it, and I know to myself, right, that there have been times where I've sat down and I said, yeah, this ain't it. Like this life here is not for me, and I'm ready for the transitional phase and whatever's to be after this, because this ain't it.
I wanted to read this proverb now that you said that. This was a proverb, okay? It says,
Wait, we can't hear. 1 second. Can you start over? Because we couldn't hear that.
I'm sorry about that. Okay, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. It says, earth, which is a temporary home for us, because when we complete our time here on earth, we will return to heaven, our home. All right? We have to remember that we all picked our parents. Well, we don't have to remember. Some of us have to come to realize. And through this culture, I've come to learn a lot about spirit and how we transition and everything. Like, it's a world, and it just sinks, it just fits. But we have to remember, we're here for a mission. We're here to do things. We're here to be great and wonderful and enjoy ourselves and gather our things, like our information, and go back home. This visit, is there really a set? If I could talk to my mother and my elders and the ones I don't even remember, is there really a separation and true love when the physical body goes? So are you ever alone? I found that I'm never alone.
And I know you guys don't believe, well, in the Yoruba culture, they don't believe in a hell or a devil. Can you speak on that a little bit?
I mean, in a sense, those words, I don't think those words even exist in the Yoruba language. You have to also understand that the American language has a whole lot of words, where the Yoruba language doesn't have a lot of these words. Now, the energy in terms of the hell and the devil's vibration, are we talking about negativity versus positivity? Like, I don't get into the devil and hell, because I create my own hell. I create my own problems. Okay? It is what it is. People bring people bring things to me, but a lot of the stuff my trip, I bring to myself. I signed up for this. I picked my parents. I picked all of that. So when you come to understand that, I mean, this is hell to me. But, you know, I don't get into that because, you know, I was brainwashed as a child. So I'm just coming clear the past 20 years. It takes a long time to clean it up. And you got to believe that. You got to understand and be patient with yourself and not be so hard on yourself. You got to gather your stuff and go home.
And that, like, for me, that's one of the biggest things. So I was having a conversation with my cousin, who's like a brother of mine, and he was explaining. He was like, "Yo, you know, like, you never really like fit into like a job, right? Like you could never go to anybody's work and work. Like, you know, like you just can't come to the job and work because yeah, it don't make sense to me, right? Like it never made sense, like that process of me going and spending my time doing something that I don't like doing, so you can give me money so I can buy stuff that I don't really want, so that like, I don't want to do all that, right? Like for me, I've always felt the people around me is what helped to make me, right? So I was good when I had the people around me and we were good, but it's very difficult to translate that to others, right? So I've always like kind of forced myself to kind of try their way of doing this, their way of doing that. And I just don't see life the same way that like a lot of other people see it. I don't see this as the end all be all. I don't see this as the greatest thing on earth. I mean, well, it might be the greatest thing on earth, but I don't see it as like the greatest thing ever. I view it as an experience to meet people and different souls in a different form, right? And then when you transition, you still gonna like be there, right? Like I feel like my uncle a lot of times is there with me, right? And he's there with me through like numbers, right? So I'll be doing something and he always hit me with these numbers, 1, 2, 3, right?
What are you doing them?
Huh?
Better dollar box, dollar straight them. What's
But
wrong?
you know what? That's how it always is, right? So it's either 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, right? Like 3, 1, 2, right? In some different form or fashion, right? I'm always like those numbers are always like helping to guide me. Whenever something is happening, I'm able to see, oh, those numbers are here, X, Y, and Z. Right? Like I don't believe that, like what you stated about bringing your own problems. That's me, 1,000%. Right? Like every problem that I have, this man right here brought it. But I also feel like everything that's positive that's happened in my life, this man here brought it.
That's you too.
Right? And I'm going through another difficult time. Like I know I ain't gonna lose it or whatever, but going through another difficult time that we're going through now, I know that I've become much more open to what else there is out there, because this ain't it for me. Again, I talk too much. Shantae, I know you got another question.
I was saying, like, you know, sometimes like there's a difficult, the family is going through a difficult time now, but I think, and I'm trying to connect it to the Orishas, to God, that sometimes these things are thrown in our way because we're not paying attention to what we need to be paying attention to, and it's to ground us and bring us back to our spirituality and where we should have been paying attention to begin with. And like I said, when we started, it doesn't matter what religion you are. We're all worshiping and we're praying to the same one God. So, like, in a way, yes, it's a trying time, but it's a blessing because we could have been going through our whole lives and not found that connection to our inner spirituality, you know. So that's how I'm trying to look at it.
I see what you're saying, yeah, and I looked at life like that a lot too. Like the Orisha, you know, sometimes people think, oh, you part of this, you wearing these lekis and stuff, you see these beads, people see these things and think that, oh, it's nice, it's fancy. But a lot of these things are given to you for protection and for guidance, and it's our life. I feel like sometimes the Orisha, you know, yes, I have God and I pray to him that he have mercy, him, she, I pray to the entity of the Most High God, okay, that they always give me mercy. But the Orisha like shapes me, like squeezes me and puts my life in front of my face and gives me grace and mercy as well as I'm learning my path. Now, this is also a lot of path-based. You know, the Yoruba culture is based on Iwa Pele. That's character. Mm-hmm. So if we're based on Iwa Pele, which is our character, and these things are happening to us regardless, whether we praying, whether we got money, because I've been rich and I've been poor. You feel me? And I've been balanced. I've been I've been happy and I've been very sad. But still, life happens. You feel me? But this is a squeezing for you to get on your path so you can gather what you need to gather, this wisdom. Create some missions. We probably dropping seeds along the way that we're not even aware of. Because we can't remember everything. Because they start hitting you with brainwashing materials early on as a kid, like just busting your head with bullshit. So, I'm sorry, I shouldn't curse, but you know, hey. Because that's how I feel. Because you know, in my DNA, and because I've connected with my ancestors, like I feel them, that it lives in me. But with the Orisha, like I'm able to become like, you know, it gives me an example to be like the best Oshun here on earth. And it allows me to, I've learned more about my path, my personality, my goods and my bads. You learn so much about yourself. It's like, I bet psychology is based on the Odu. I bet you psychology is based on this. I'm telling you, I've been in 25 years, but since I've become a priestess, I've learned so much, and I have so much longer to live. I'm still amazed. It's amazing, and it fits.
What does it mean exactly to be a priestess?
Okay, so I have a ministry. I can start a ministry. I'm a priestess. When you see pastors, mm-hmm. You see, I don't know, they call them first ladies. I guess they're priestess. But, you know, in my world, there's things that we are able to do. There's certain prayers. There's divination. I'm able to do divination, you know. Not as a priestess yet, because I am a baby. So I'm not divinating as an Oshun priestess. But I've been reading tarot cards for some years, you know. And I divinate without cards as well. I guess what it means for me, what it means to be a priestess is that I'm allowed to know that I'm living right. My character is growing. I'm under the guidance of God and Orisha. And I'm here to minister. I'm here to proclaim. I'm a proclaimer. So I'm going to show you God, and I'm going to show you the Orisha through my lifestyle, through me.
I have one more question. And so in the beginning, when we first started and Jonah showed that clip, and in the clip, they were explaining how, you know, some cultures, they do ancestral work, and through that, they believe they could shift certain paths. And also they give offerings to altars and make sacrifices. So now when Christians, when Christians hear stuff like that, they automatically go to, oh, this is voodoo or this is devil work. But like, how do you respond to people who come at you like that?
Well, first, I want to take it off for Christians.
Okay.
Because Christians is not like a race. It's just people choose to live that way. It's people.
Right. Okay.
When other humans say that those things are evil, bad, how do I respond to that? I don't. It's not my problem how they feel about it. I used to be worried and hide, but look, hiding, it kept me too locked in. I just stay in my lane. Mm-hmm. I don't respond to it. Right. I'm not concerned. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to be me. I have a path. See, when you get into this thing, you start to understand you have a path. I'm a share, but I don't respond to that. I'm not interested. Of course, people say that stuff.
Right.
Sacrifice is a negative word, but again, sacrifice is not even a Yoruba word. Offering is. Appeasement is. You see, the English language has a lot of words, and it can give people a lot of misunderstandings. Gives a lot of people a lot of different ways to take it. It's like one pie, you could cut it 12 ways. So I don't respond. I've heard it, but I don't respond.
Just block out the negativity.
Yeah, because really, if I'm controlling energy and vibration, like you said, because that's really more than you want to know. As a priestess, can you do that? As a priestess, you can do that, yes. But as a not priestess, you can do that too. by how you handle things, and you work on your character. You'd be surprised what you can move.
Nice.
Yeah. So for me, that's one of the. I think that if you spend a lot of time answering questions about, other people's opinions, then it's just taken away from what you got going on.
Yeah.
When I played football, I was told that, well, it's a brute game and it's a dumb man's game. You just going in, you smashing in heads and doing X, Y, and Z. And it's like, all right, cool. Because you can't see the beauty of it. You can't see that it takes 11 people working in synchronicity together in order to complete this one mission, this one task, this one goal, right? I'm a family person. That's the reason why I like a family game, right? Like I like to live my life in that way. So when you're telling me that this is dumb and this X, Y, and Z, I hear what you're saying. This is what I'm doing, because I also understand that it's changing other people's lives, that I'm able to be a role model and an example for others of how they should live their life, right, through a game. And I think, and a lot of times when we lose the game or whatever it is that helped give us that purpose or whatever in life, now you get unbalanced, and then things happen, and then you find yourself in a unbalanced place, and then and getting to the space now where we're more open to learning about these things, because as Shantae said, right, one of the first things you're gonna hear if you in the, what's that thing called? If you are in the island culture, you're gonna hear, oh, that's the Obia lady.
I hear that. I've been called. Listen, hey, I've been called some stuff, even family members. But the only people that I will sit down and spend time explaining that to are my sons and my husband, if those were if they were in question. I have aunties and things, they have their opinion. I allow them to their opinion. I allow them to their space. Right. What can I do? Because if I start arguing, then I'm off of destiny. That's not for me.
Right.
Arguing leads to fight, negativity, and then what would I be doing? Bringing my bringing that all right back to me. So I don't deal with it.
And one of the things you said earlier was the fact that any issue that you've had, any problem, that you brought it on yourself. And knowing that, right, like, I know that this is going to create an issue. That's what you believe. That's what you feel. I'm over here. This is what I'm doing. One of the things that I also heard in that clip was that you can do something to become an ancestor when you transition over. Right. So I was like, ooh, I want to sign up. How'd that work?
You talking about, you mean in terms of becoming an ancestor once you expire physically? Yes. I guess there's levels to this shit. I'm trying to stay on path and destiny. I feel like if I reach my destiny, I'm all right. And when I go up there, I'm moving buildings too. So like, I can't really explain all that because like I said, it's levels to it, I'm very young in terms of the history and the deep understanding of how once you become a spirit, or we call it an Egun, how you transition on those levels. That's a whole nother level. This thing is deeply studied. Now, I don't think you could just go see. Some people also have this understanding that they could drop a couple of $1,000 and whoop, I'm out the room after 7 days or so, and I'm a priestess. Nah. Even with all the time I spent as a devotee, I'm telling you, I started this, I was like 19, 17, my mother died. So I started this like a good 18, 19 years old. Okay, really, if you think about it, I started when my mother died, in a sense, on my own, right? Still, and I just got my crown last year, 2020, okay? I'm still within my Iyawo year, okay? There's so much that I have to learn. Yeah, it's only 2021. I received it in early 2020. So I still have time to go before I make a year. It's close.
Right.
You'll know me. However, what I'm saying is that there's so much to learn. There's so much. Even in terms of divination, there's years of learning and practicing and understanding not only yourself first you got to get to know yourself. You hear people talk about shadow work. This is some real shadow work. You're going to get to know who you are. And you're going to sink or you're going to float. And there's no backing out. Okay, you made a decision in the eyes of God, and you're going to follow it through. But there's years of study. When I talk to you guys on another note, I'm always studying, right?
Yes,
I'm always reading something. There's endless amount of information and education behind this. You don't just jump out the room and you a priestess. No, like there's levels to it. So I'm sure if this is what it is in the physical walk, I'm sure that when we expire physically, that there's levels to that shit too.
Right.
Okay, but I'm not yet there yet. There's tons of study. There's things to learn. You asked me about e-file, a whole nother section that we need to study and learn.
I was gonna say yes. It's really deep and it's different.
Very deep.
It's a million different
as
levels.
you learn it, you start to see all the American systems, all the other religious systems that stem from this. The more I learn, the more it's written on my DNA. I just say, wow, my people, how much was taken and misconstrued.
Before I forget, I want you to tell everybody what your YouTube channel is called so they could go and subscribe.
It's called Gather Your People. Gather Your People on YouTube. And I have Facebook. There it is. Yeah, Gather Your People on YouTube. By my Facebook, I think I might be Ifa Tomiwa Osun Okan. There you go. And I have the Instagram thing too. That's Gather Your People. Ifa Tomiwa Osun Okan. Yeah.
Wonderful. Now, also, we want to say thank you to everybody who in the comments who joined in. I would have to say that this has been one of the more engaged episodes.
Really, people are talking. I want to see what they saying.
So right now we're going to bring in Amen Anu. I'm terrible with names. I apologize.
That's my brother. His name is Kevin.
Okay.
He said, yes, it's definitely a spiritual time. What else we got? Well, we have Courtney here who said, you see who someone is you see who someone really is under pressure, which is a whole fact. So we definitely, he also came back and said, this is so wonderful. We definitely appreciate. We definitely.
And I appreciate them, and we also needed to salute the ancestors of those people who are watching, and we appreciate them for bringing them here to share the time with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is nice.
Yeah, so thank you for coming on. Thank you for being open and transparent and answering the questions and elevating above fear. I really appreciate it. We hope to have bring you on again in the future. Maybe I don't know if your godmother might want to come and we could just maybe talk about another section, another layer, because as we
keep
said,
doing what you guys are doing, man. Elevate above fear is definitely it, man. Stop being afraid. We have nothing else to lose at this stage. It's 2021. Shit is hard. Let's all elevate above fear and get to work and do what makes us happy, and stop being so concerned with everybody else's business. That's the key. And and stop being afraid to get a reading. Like, come on, your people been getting readings from the beginning of time. Well, even the people that you think not getting them, they getting them. All religions are getting them.
We've been taught to be afraid of that, right? Like,
don't be afraid.
Don't be. What's that lady? You remember? Call me on for your. You remember her, right? Cleo. Like she really put a wrench in it. You understand, for people.
But they do it in the church, right? They be having the prophesizers.
Absolutely.
I don't know about in the Islamic world. They got prophets.
What's his name? Where he had the headpiece in, and then they did a whole thing about he got the headpiece in, and like they feeding him information, and then he's evangelicalizing.
I got the headpiece in, but it's connected to Olodumare and to the ancestors and to the I got this. You see, my headpiece is invisible.
Right. That's hold on one second. We actually have more questions coming in.
Okay.
For you right now. So, can you speak more on picking your parents? You touched on that briefly.
Picking your parents. What she said again?
Yeah, she said, can you speak more on picking your parents?
Okay, so my understanding is when we're children, right? When we're spirit, is that we choose our parents. Okay, there's something about the parents that we chose that we knew that would be an aid to getting us to our destiny. See, this thing is not about houses, cars, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It's not about that. Not even about the education. It's about the mission you came to gather, what you came to gather. I doubt you came to party.
Right.
However, you pick the parents that you need, whether the hunger, the pain, the strife, the joy, the pain, whatever it is. You pick them for a reason to help you get you in a position to get where you need to go. So our children, maybe that's why when we first look at our parents, we like in love. Like that's God first, God. Like I remember being like truly in love with my mother. Like who can honestly, I heard, I said that some people don't. But some people, you can be truly in love with your parent. Why is that? Like, what was it about her that I chose? Was it that she was going to go so early so that I could get down to the business? I think so. I signed up. Cassandra's life was short, and Shoshania, at the time, that was my name, could handle it. And it brought me here. Look how far it's gotten me. It hurt. Hey, I'm not going to pretend. But I picked her for a reason. I hope that answers her question. And that's what she should talk to her. Like, that's what she should pray on. Like, those nights when you lay down or those mornings when you're in your tub or when you just somewhere and the sun's shining on your face, just think, like, why did I pick you? Like, why did I pick this? And then you start to love and embrace the good and the bad. Because it's just what it is. It's what it is.
And I definitely think that, we put a lot of pressure on our parents when we're younger, right? For them to be perfect, right? A lot of what I'm doing right now, my mother did in the Brownsville community, right? Like a lot of this work is her work, right? Like that's who I saw do it. And when things went left, I wanted us to continue it. And so I decided. Could have been
something about her that needed to put you on that mission, like so you could continue.
Right. And I feel like that's what's happening, right? Because
what's driving you right now.
Yeah, because this ain't me.
You need to get a reading, brother.
Yeah.
Yes. Or you need to tap in. Look, communicate. At least try.
No, I'm with it. Like that. That's not.
Start somewhere. Like reach out, man. Divination is important. It's a system that's designed. It was given to us for a reason. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And trust me, it's you. Stop being afraid. Stop being afraid of yourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of times that's what you're projecting. Right? So when you put things out there, like, "Hey, elevator up there," you're really talking to yourself, you know. And that's what a lot of this is about. It's really, me speaking to myself because.
Well, is that you up there then or before, reminding you, like, all them numbers? Start looking into numerology and start searching.
It's something about, being powerful that is scary. Right, that getting to know it's scary, and people can say whatever they want, right? But when you know that your words can influence people to move left or right, you understand that that's a strong position to be in, and sometimes you kind of back away from it, and I'm gonna get to reading more of that.
So, hit me up or any other those avenues, or you guys call me.
No,
you can put the number. I use that for the readings, for the tarot readings and things as well. And then I can segue into the I know people that know people, so I know people now. I can't do divination on a Orisha or Ifa level, but I know the people who can do it on that level. But I can give you some of the juice, and they give you the meat. How about that?
Look, you know what I appreciate? Right, I appreciate the human aspect of it, right? Like when you go into the church, just like, amen, and they the most divine, and then when you ask them a question, then they just slipping it. and slipping it. And so it's like, son, I ain't asked you that. I asked you what about X, Y, and Z. And it's like, oh man.
I gotta get y'all up off the church. We gotta stop talking today. We gotta say humans.
Yeah,
because you don't want to get cut down for saying names. People get it sensitive. So let's just say humans. You know, humans be dodging. Because look, even the jokers that's not in the church, that's not in the mosque, that's not in the temples, they acting like that. And we still deal with them. So them humans be out there dodging. It's can you be energy, and it's a human experience. Because I'm pure energy. And I'm through human, and it's a human experience. I'm going with the flow.
Like I appreciate you saying I don't know. Like for me, that is the best part. You know, like I tell that to, like when I was teaching, the kids would ask me certain things about history. We took a trip one day, like, oh, hey, in 1866, didn't this? I said, I don't know. Why would I know that? You the history teacher.
I know what I love.
You understand? Like, look, I don't know everything about history.
You know, you gotta find. And I encourage everybody to do research. This book right here, Osun Across the Water, very good book. Taught me a lot about Osun. Then this book right here, the Cradle of Yoruba Culture, also very good book. Like I look in those every day.
And so, and one of the things that I'm taking from this, right, big time, study, educate yourself. Right?
Yeah,
we get so afraid of education, like we're running out there after a dollar amount, right? So like, and that's the thing that always frustrated me. Go get the dollar, go get the dollar, go get the. Are you educating yourself? Do you know, like, you know, like you can expand
the balance. Yeah, you gotta have balance in everything.
Right, but with this is just about the dollar.
If the people that you're around at the moment you can't talk to about, just keep it to yourself. It's okay to hold it for a while. It's only for a moment.
Absolutely.
I learned that the hard way, but it's only for a moment. And it feels so good when you come out clean. Just hold it. If they don't want to talk about it, look, I'm ready to talk about it. We can talk about it. But if you can't get to me, just hold it. Just hold it. Just everybody, it ain't for everybody right at the moment sometimes.
Okay, so we're lastly, I want to thank everybody in the chat. I want to recognize everyone. I don't generally do a great job of this, but Donna, she said that, you know, this has been very interesting. We appreciate that. Sandy, she said, good show, right? That's a, you know, we appreciate that. We got people over on YouTube. Chris, he said, natural headpiece.
Yeah.
I guess that's that's you.
Okay, that's
even when she was talking about.
Oh my!
Like you said, people have the earpiece in their ear at the church. He was saying she was like, nah, mine is connected straight, right? Yeah.
I got the divine connection.
Hey, my bad, Chris. Next time I gotta throw that on a little quicker. My fault. This is Tanisha. I don't know what the
McKinney.
Yeah. So proud of your elevation.
We spoke about earlier.
So proud of your elevation. Teach and continue to gather our people. You are always destined for greatness.
Ashe. I do pray.
Gather your people.
That's we thank you. I do pray. We thank you.
Gather your people. So no, we definitely want to thank everybody for coming on tonight. I feel like tonight was a very special episode.
Yes.
I know it. I know it. I feel it. I feel lighter now.
I'm excited too. I'm excited. I'm glad we had a chance to talk.
Yeah, and I want I want for us to have more dialect and conversation surrounding spirituality, right? Surrounding religion, surrounding faith, and, you know, ancestors and all of that. So please leave your comments.
Okay.
You know, leave your messages so that we can come back with more, right? Like we want to bring this. Mark also said, cause I'm trying to get everybody on. Mark, her readings are spot on. They are very informative, right? So that's Mark. All right, so Mark, that one was for me.
And
he's talking to you, Joe.
Yeah,
Lori said we all getting readings.
Hey, look, Lori on it. Hey, we all getting readings. That's it. It's over. We lit.
Everybody get it, right? All right, I'm with that. Y'all know my number.
So everyone, go to the YouTube page, go to her IG page, gather your people, and hit
the best way to get me is just text that number. You can give your followers my number or look at my Facebook page. You'll see like my posting with the number that I use.
Okay, and when we cut up the video and everything, we put it out. Everything is going to be in the description and so on and so forth.
Okay.
We're thankful. We appreciate having you on. Any last words?
I give thanks. On the way out, I give thanks to all of our ancestors. I appreciate you. I give thanks to my mother, Osun, who has brought me here. My father, I'm not going to say who has brought me here. I appreciate all of the Orisha, all of them, and all the spirits and the entities that have guided me and brought us all thus far. I do pray. I do pray. I do pray.
I do pray. Shantae?
No, thank you. This has been a very insightful and inspiring show. I'm so happy that you came on. I'm so happy about the engagement that we got from that we have from people that, you know, that pay attention. They came open-minded with their questions and their statements. So I know that this was a good show. So thank you.
Good. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Good
night.
All right, guys. So give thanks.
Odaro, that means good night.
Good Odaro.
Odaro.
Ogaro. I'm gonna get
Odaro.
it. Odaro. I'm working. See, I'm a man in process. Give thanks for guidance, patience. I'm out.
Okay.
Later.
Oda.